Alright, today we're going to be looking at an acoustic guitar lesson, and I thought what better for the first lesson on this Taylor GS Mini than something from Eric Clapton's Unplugged. We're going to be looking at the solo from Before You Accused Me. It's a fantastic example of Clapton's 12-bar blues soloing technique. And I'm going to be showing you some licks that you can use in any blues environment, whether acoustic or electric. I'm going to start by playing along to a backing track. You'll note I will be flat picking, whereas Clapton is of course playing fingerstyle. That is not my forte, so I'm going to be showing you just a flat pick version which has all the actual lead parts, not the thumb bass part. You can add that yourself if you're a fingerstyle player. And then I'll break down all the licks for you and again show you not only the licks themselves, but why Clapton is playing those particular notes over which chords in the progression, so that you can take that knowledge and export it to other songs when you're playing your music or in a jam situation. That demo was not perfect, of course, but what we're striving for here is to give you an example of the notes played in the environment of the song at tempo over the chord progression. And as usual, this isn't a note-for-note transcription. It's very, very close. Those of you who want to get to that nitty-gritty, feel free to go out on the web and get the tab and get it down to note for note. But this will get you very close to do that. And again, the blues is a free-form style. Clapton's not going to play this exactly the same every time. He's going to play riffs like this, and so you can take these riffs and make them your own. This is a 12-bar blues, and so you need to know the chord progression. It is a quick change. For those of you who are new to the 12-bar blues format, quick change simply means that instead of staying on the root chord, the 1, which in this case is E, for the first 4 measures you just play 1 measure of E and then do a quick change to the 4, which is the A, before coming back for 2 more measures on the E. So again, 1 measure E, 1 measure A, 2 measures E instead of 4 measures of E. Many blues songs are quick change like that. It adds a little spice and variety, so it's so that's your first 4 measures. So what is Clapton doing over those first 4 measures? The solo starts out with this figure here: first string 10th fret, second string 12th fret. You're playing a D note and a B note. Again, we're in the key of E. He's playing mainly E minor pentatonic licks, which is the classic blues scale. Most blues tunes are in the minor. In terms of the leads, are going to be played over a minor pentatonic. He's going to mix in occasionally other notes, but that's the main thing, is a minor pentatonic. So what you have here is the D, which is the 7th, and the B, which is the 5th in the E scale, okay? So this would be 9, 10, and then 7, 8. Okay, here you're playing a C sharp, which is the 6th, and you're playing an A, which is the 4. It's just a little passing note, and what you're landing on is really 2 parts of an E minor chord. Right, that's an E minor triad there. Your B, again, which is your 7, or excuse me, which is your 5. Your G, which is your minor 3rd, and then your root, the E. He's just playing those 2 notes. That's a really common blues lick. And I talked about in other lessons how bending that third from the minor to the major is a really common technique in blues and rock soloing. So lots of times when you'll see people play that riff over an E chord, they'll bend that second string note there at the 8th fret, that G, they'll bend it from a G up to a G sharp to give that tension, that little bit of tension between the minor and the major third, which is the difference between the minor and the major pentatonic note. It's kind of that freight train sound. So anyway, by that point it's gone to the quick change of the A chord. So this was over the E, and then the quick change to the A, so he just kind of riffs on the A there, just the normal chunking that you should know. And then it goes back for the 2 bars of the E, bars 3 and 4 of the 12-bar blues, and so he has to hang on this longer because it's 2 bars of E instead of 1 the first time, so he just keeps hitting it. He might be sliding up to it, but then he just resolves exactly the same way as the first time. Okay, so that's your first 4 bars. Now we've got 2 bars of A. So where is he going to go? He's going to go to the A, 5th fret. There is your A position, and he slides into it. Really common lick. Those are the 3 notes of an A major triad, right? The movable E shape of an A chord. Really common lick. Alright, he's just walking down that first string, 7, 6, 5, and then playing the 8th fret there on the 2nd string. And then this is the part where it's not an exact transcription, but he does something like, again, just kind of those 2 notes, which is a C sharp on the 3rd string, 6th fret, and the E, which of course, again, we're in the key of E. He wants to resolve on that E because the chord progression's coming back to the E. And so when he, something like that, when he comes back to that E, the chord progression is on an E. He's got an E note over the E chord progression, and he kind of, oh, I forgot to mention, when I led into that A note, I did strike the open 5th string A and kind of let it ring out, just because Clapton is playing finger style and just approximating that a little bit by getting a bass note in there. You don't have to do that. When you're playing electric solo, of course, you wouldn't do that. So when I came back to that E, after that, I may have hit an open E in there too. I usually try to do that. And then he's playing an E7 chord. That's the intro to the song, by the way, is hitting that E7 and walking it down. E7 chord, you know your first position, D7 chord, just bring it up 2 frets. Right, this would be an E major. This is an E7. So what he does, he goes. This is the oldest blues lick in the book, as are virtually all of these, right? I mean, Clapton's doing Robert Johnson stuff and other old blues players here. He's not inventing this stuff. Okay, so again, the A. The E, Now we're coming to the 5, which is a B, so he's going to go up 2 frets to the 7th fret, B position. Same lick he played over the A. Just 3 notes of a B major triad, that's it. This isn't complicated. Okay, that same walking down on the first string lick that he played over the A. He gives that note, which is the 10th fret 2nd string, a little wiggle. That B section, 7th fret, was the 9th measure of the 12-bar blues. And you can bend that. It's the 7 in the B scale, but it's that 10th fret 2nd string, the A note. You can bend that up or down, whichever is good for you. Anyway, that's the 9th measure. So then we go down for the 10th measure is the 4. And he plays very similar lick as the first time he was on the A. But the first time he was on the A, he had 2 measures. This time he only has 1. Again, I did something like that. The most important part, again, is landing on the E note, the 2nd string 5th fret. Because again, we're going to be going to an E chord there for the 11th measure of the 12-bar blues, the 11th bar. So whatever you play, play some combination of these notes. Okay, land on that E. Alright, now we're in the 11th measure, and over the E he does a standard blues turnaround out of that 2nd position, E minor pentatonic. You should know these basic E minor pentatonic positions. The 1st position, 2nd position, coming down into 1st, which is what he does here. We've seen those 2 notes in a bazillion other songs. Many lessons I've shown you this lick out of this 2nd position blues box, talking about the 3rd fret 2nd string and the 4th fret 3rd string. We saw it a minute ago when he was playing that E7 chord. Sometimes when people play this turnaround, they go. Sometimes they leave the 1st string open. Buddy Holly left the 2nd and 3rd strings open. And that'll be the day. Can play it a million different ways, but here he does something like. 12th measure, of course, landing on the 5 at the end of the turnaround, which here is a B7. And there's a bazillion blues turnarounds. This is one of the most simple and common. Again. That should be in your vocabulary already. If it's not, make it part of your vocabulary. So that's Before You Accuse Me from Eric Clapton's Unplugged CD, about 20 years ago actually that CD came out. Anyway, play around with these. Get out the acoustic, sit on the porch, sit on the couch, play around with these little turnarounds, practice that chunking. you can make it your own and do whatever you want with it. That's all for now. Thanks for joining me. I'll see you next time.